Alright, are you working? It's acting like it might be, maybe? I got something. Hello, I'm back. So I've started early, about 12 minutes early, because I know I'm probably going to have to end early. There is a person coming to install my toilet today, sometime between 2 and 5. So maybe 2 minutes before my normal end of stream, and maybe after the stream's over. I don't know. So we'll get what we can get done before that. I do know that tomorrow I'm also not going to be streaming in the morning because I have a doctor's appointment. So hopefully I get some stuff done before Sunday. We'll see. Maybe closing in on some of the last streaming I'll do before Sunday. We're getting closer to it, I'm sure of it. At first, we thought she'd gone back inside the building, but the door doesn't look like it's been opened in some time. She might still be nearby. So we'll keep looking around here. Then again, it's also possible she ran right past this place. Would you mind searching up ahead? Sure, let's take a look. Maybe there's a secret entrance to something? Oh, there's a person. Girl in the green dress anxiously surveys her surroundings. Were you to call out to her from this distance, it might attract wild beasts to your location. It'd be safer to get closer first, but you must do so without drawing her attention. Follow the girl from a safe distance. The objective will end in failure if you're noticed. Make use of cover such as rocks to approach her without being seen. Similarly, the objective will end in failure if you fall too far behind. Should you fail to complete the objective, you may try again by returning to this designated location. So far, so good. You don't notice that guy running right past you, huh? Someone there. You just see the overgrown rows. Must be imagining things. Better catch my breath. You can't see me. I'm hiding behind this rock. One of those beast spots me. I'm done for. Hope my luck holds. Please don't attack me, Mr. Overgrown Rose. Gotta keep going. They're all depending on me. Just a little further. This is it. It's the final spurt. Why would you say that out loud, though? Let's give her a new location. Didn't notice that guy either, huh? Time to sneak up on the girl, right in front of her. Duty complete. Who's still in one piece? Oh, that's great. I need to be a extra working to talk to this lady. Hey, lady. Hi, I was stalking you. Nice to meet you. I'm Peter. Who are you? Stay back. This house is packed with explosives. Take another step and I'll blow the place sky high. Please don't. Please, we just want to talk. I'm off for now. This is my sister Alice, and this is our good friend Pieter. We have no intention of hurting or taking anything from you or anyone else. I give you my word. We and our comrades have come to provide aid to the people of Garlemald. Aid? You savages are the ones responsible for all of this. You did this to us. We didn't. I promise you. One of the other reasons we came was to find out what happened here, in fact. The Telefori are the ones to blame. They're the ones who laid waste to Garlemald, and they won't stop until they've destroyed the entire world. They're the enemy. They're all our enemy. They're all of our enemies. On your way, we encountered Imperial soldiers who'd been made their thralls. Those poor souls are now in our care, and we are striving to cure them of their affliction. You're the first person we've met who hasn't already been enslaved. How were you able to escape the Telefori's influence? Are there any others like you? I'm sorry, I don't mean to overwhelm you. Let's just start with introductions. Could you tell me your name? My name's Licinia. As far as I've managed to stay sane, I've been asking myself the same question. Ever since that night, that roar, that terrible roar. And then there were screams, and I was screaming too, I think. I'm not sure. Honestly, I can't remember. Then came the silence, and, well, everything was still. It was like waking up from a nightmare. I thought maybe the fighting had stopped, and so I stepped outside. Looks horrible. If your hells are real, I saw one that day. I ran past friends, people I've known my whole life, with their eyes vacant and dead, staring straight up into the sky. Others were mad and violent, and I saw them struggle with soldiers, but I didn't stay to watch. I fled. I fled as far as my legs would take me. Do you have any family here? Is this their home? No, this is Victor Spoils, the mansion for retired soldiers, or it was. Now me and a few others are, well, we're borrowing it. As for the explosives, I was kind of making that up. I just wanted to keep everyone else safe, and I didn't know if you were... The truth is, our supplies are running low. You said you're here to help. Can you? Oh, of course. Whatever assistance we can provide, we will. Thank you. I'd better tell the others first, though. Wait here. This is, well, this is everyone. Licinia says you can be trusted, but these are desperate times. We'd be fools to let foreign troops into our home. Having said that, were you to provide us a means of heating this place as a sign of goodwill, perhaps we could take you at your word. If that's too much to ask, then leave us be, please. Oh, time to put my firewood gathering skills to use. Could you provide the spark with a little magic, Alice? Mm-hmm. We'll have a fire burning in no time. Maybe build it under that gazebo. The what? Oh, you mean the bower. Yes, sure, do as you will. That's good to hear. Something up? What's the problem? Tracks in the snow. What's the problem, Celia? Sorry, I'm still finding it hard to come to terms with all that's happened. Now that you're here, though, I'm hoping things might change for the better. You know, I've worked up quite a sweat with all that writing about. So I'll leave space around for the fire for the others. As you can tell, they're in far worse state than me. We were planning to look around for somewhere warmer, with more food. But they're not going anywhere until we nurse them back to health, and which I don't know how to do that. Is there anything you can do to help them? Well, sure, try. Yeah, they're off and no. I can treat the frostbite and the wounds, but it'll take time for the fire to do its work. That would be a good occasion to make use of Vermilion's tinctures. The ones that can warm the body from the inside out. Would you make sure everyone gets one? Sure. The numbness is beginning to subside, although I suspect once the fire dies, it'll return with a vengeance. Here, drink this, but do not touch. Warming tincture? I've never even heard of such a thing. Well, there's no harm in trying. Tell me, have you heard aught of the city? Calling it that seems absurd after what's happened, but it's nothing but ruins now. The few buildings still standing offer no more meager protection than wind and snow. Food production, water purification, the magitech that sustained us, it's all come to a grinding halt. What machina that remains operational but cannot be run for lack of ceruleum. Of course, cerulean just is full of this stuff for all the good it does us. No one here knows the first thing about extraction or refinement. What I need the most is a decent meal. We food back at the camp, but there's a distance to consider. All is well. Yes. Never better. Here, drink this. It's probably not poisonous. Oh, what sweet libation is this? Is it poison by any chance? And if it is, you'll die quicker, and you won't have to suffer. That was a joke. A joke. If I laughed, that I may not weep. So said the poet. And alas, my tears would freeze in my cheek ere they fell. We are the blessed damned, to bear witness to the fall of the great empire while our brethren lie dead, or live on as puppets of flesh. First came the war, then came the roar. When morning came, Garlemald was no more. In a cacophony of gunfire and explosions and screams was our beloved capital razed to the ground. For the rubble rose the disheveled remnants, their lavish finery caked in ash as they shuffled mindlessly toward the place, each bearing a fragment of stone and metal, an offering, perhaps, to the architect of our destruction. A hopeful few tried for reason with the deranged, only to be beaten for their kindness. But I knew better than to plead with the horde. I fled with my health, if not my conscience preserved. Now I wait with my fellow cowards for a final judgment. It's fine. Probably. What do you want? Here, drink this. It's, delicious. A tincture? I may as well drink it, I suppose. do hear your radio. It's an interesting tune. This? Oh, it's a radio. You don't have them where you come from, I take it? We use them to listen to messages sent by others, even over great distances. There are different types, but this model is by far the most popular, made with quality components crafted with the finest ore, sourced from Locus Ominis, that is. Not all that useful since the capital fell into ruin. The people at the broadcasting station must have either fled or more likely ended up like the others. Because all we've been hearing is the same music being played over and over again. Home beyond the horizon. An ode to the brave men and women sent to reclaim our ancestral homeland of Locus Ominis. We may have founded an empire in these frozen wastes, but we always hoped to take back what was once ours. It is a solemn reminder that we must suffer great hardship. Better days will surely come. Despite everything, I believe that Emperor Varus yet lives, and that he speaks to us through our radios. It's a cunning strategy, faking his murder. He must have foreseen this catastrophe and chosen to conceal himself, that he may one day make his triumphant return. Yes, I'm sure of it. Emperor Varus would not be defeated so easily. Just gonna leave that there. Wind up poem. What's that? It's a warming tincture. You need one too. Help keep you from freezing to death. So this is what you gave the others. Thank you. I'll save it for later. Actually, I've got a few things to ask you. Sure, go ahead. Are you part of the group staying in Lautarum? I saw Legatus Vergilius troops heading toward the Magnus Glacius a few days ago. Are you the ones they encountered? I mean, probably. They kind of took us by surprise. Camp Broken Glass, you call it. And Vergilia and her men are all there now. So how'd you reach the Magnus Glaciers? Did you cross the mountains on foot? We used an airship. Airships? Then there might still be a way to... Cinia, where is everyone? Is something the matter? There's a voice behind you. A voice from inside, you say? You must be imagining things. Everyone is out here. Perhaps the baby Almasty has found its way into the house. It wouldn't be the first time. I thought the soldiers to scare him off. Wild animals have been roaming close to the settlements. Some have been known to attack people, too. I just had an idea. If you are strong enough to defeat Legatus, then surely a few beasts won't pose threat. If you have a mind to continue helping us, perhaps you could head to the other side of the lake. There's a small group of tappers living there, people whose job was to extract ceruleum. They still do, from what we can tell. I've already tried asking if they would share their fuel with us, but they're not willing to give us any. They want food in exchange. Lots of food. And that's something we don't have, and we can't get on our own. On top of that, to even reach their den, you have to make your way past all those creatures. Would you be willing to go in our place? We only need enough ceruleum to last until the others are strong enough to travel to the camp. If the offer still stands, that is. Oh, and I don't expect you to give up all of your own supplies, but there might be another way to pay the tappers. Let's watch out for baby Almasties while we're away. Oh, yes, of course. If you see any, I'll be sure to shoo them away. To reach Tapper's Den, you'll have to cross the lake. The ice is thick enough to support a person's weight, but if you'd rather not take the risk, you'll need to take the long way around. And finding the entrance can be a bit tricky, too, so it's easier to just look for someone standing guard outside. However you decide to head there, please be careful. Sure, it can support the weight of a person, but what about a unicorn? Regia Demorum. For the blessed venison. A ludicrously massive bear. Sir, you should not be that big. Okay. I see another spot to lay some sedative laced venison. You want to die too, huh? I can oblige. Not my favorite thing, but... Just have to take a few aliens are still around. Some more sedative laced venison. Last one should be up here. There we get. I see you're still in possession of a full set of limbs, which can only mean the hunt was a success. Truth be told, I heard from others in the field that the bear you encountered was rather more lively than we'd anticipated, and a fair bit bigger. It was ludicrously large. What, you felled the brood all by yourself? Most impressive. Though it would appear that the sleeping potion provided by Lord O'Melian was considerably less effective than he'd led us to believe. As he tells it, he adopted this approach after incurring the wrath of his lord father for his inability to master more sporting methods. He spoke of his exploits with some pride, despite the tales hardly painting him in a favorable light. Still, in our present situation, we must forego the thrill of the hunt and select the means that present the surest road to success, underhanded though they may be. Regrettably, the bears of this region are entirely immune to this formula, or perhaps there was something wrong with it to begin with. In any case, no harm done, huh? To you, I mean, not to the bears, obviously. Yes. Very noticeable amount of harm done to the bears. There we go. Let's see, the ice can withstand the weight of a man. What about a rampaging gorilla? Hey there, Broby Pepper. Who goes there? How did you find us? Oh, the ladies over there were nice enough to give us directions. What do you mean I stand out like a sore thumb? If the purebloods over at Victor Spoils hadn't given away our location, you'd never have found us. Stuck-up assholes thought they could come waltzing in here demanding cerulean with nothing to offer in return. Looks like the boot's on the other foot now and the capital's gone to shite. So they resorted to sending you to negotiate. I know your game, Sellsword. If they think we'll give in to intimidation, they've got another thing coming. Well, I came here to offer my hand in friendship, but I guess death or life. All right, Valkyrie, you get the one on the left, I'll get the one on the right. Please, stop. Consider me intimidated. There you are. Just after you left, Zinnia asked me to go and catch up with you, in case you needed a hand. Someone must have let slip that I have a little experience in transporting barrels of ceruleum. So this is Tappa's den. Well then, after you. Hey there. Ignore my outfit. I'm not here to intimidate you. Who are you? What happened to the guards? Oh, we beat them very handily. They tried to attack us. You're the rebels here to save the people of Garlemald. Oh, that doesn't make any goddamn sense. Why the hell would you pass up this chance to put those Imperial bastards to the sword? Let me guess. None of you are Gallian? You're brought here from other lands? Gerabania, Yansha, Boja, Dalmasca, to name a few. Some dragged here against our wills. Others fed bullocks have had a better life. All put to work extracting ceruleum. All given the esteemed title of An, placing us firmly in the bottom rung of the ladder. But the old hierarchy means nothing in the new Garlemald, says we. But the only thing that's escaped more or less unscathed is ceruleum ligands. Still sustaining us, even with our paymasters out of the picture. We hear you're experts in drawing up ceruleum in the bottom of the lake. But how can you do that if it's frozen over? Wouldn't you like to know? Trade secrets, I'm afraid. At any rate, it's not as if ceruleum is used for much these days. What with obsidian ruins, we take enough to power our heaters and save a surplus for later. And though it helps stave off the cold, it does sod all about our hunger, unless we trade it all away. Speaking of which, be sure to tell your contingent we got ceruleum by the barrelful. If they're interested, we'll exchange it for whatever provisions they're willing to spare. Oh, we can certainly ask. But if you're all free to go now, why carry on living here? Free to go? Where? Even if we manage to get back to our homelands, there's nothing left for us, thanks to the Empire. And the knowledge and skills we've acquired working here would be practically useless outside of Garlemald. So we're staying here for the time being. As long as we're in need of ceruleum, we'll find a way to get by. Even if Garlemald is all we know. Even if the Garlemald we know it, he's gone for good. Gone for good. Hi, kitty. Regardless of what Ilsabard contingent does for the people of Garlemald, the Empire itself really is already a thing of the past. For many, that would be a cause of celebration, while for others, their whole way of life would be turned upside down. After all the atrocities committed by the Empire's name, perhaps it is for the best that it's contingent to history. What of the ordinary people? Their lives, their stories? Should they be forgotten too? I suppose there'll be plenty of time to ponder that later. But for now, let's see about getting that ceruleum. So you've come sick on ceruleum, have you? Not yet. What, those purebloods up at Victor Spoil sent you? They turned to their enemies for help. They must be more desperate than I thought. Then again, Lucinia's got a little sister to think about. A sister? We only saw Lucinia and 3 men. It's possible she died from whatever was ailing her. If she needed treatment, I doubt there'd be any way to get her around her there. May have refused Lucinia at first, thinking she'd come back with something in exchange, but I can spare my bottles with a ceruleum. Consider it a reward for introducing us to the rest of your contingent. Be sure to send them our way. You hear? I can't for the life of me think why Lucinia would keep a sister a secret from us. But we can ask about that after we've delivered our ceruleum. Come on, let's hurry back. Yes, kitty. Yes, I love you too. Use this staircase to cross over. I know, kitty, we're full of purrs. Hey there, Alice. This isn't right. It's too quiet. I would have thought Alfina would still be treating them by the fire, but they're nowhere to be seen. I look inside the house while you search outside. They can't have got far. Would they betray Alfredo? Would not be the first time that he got fooled. Back there? What happened? They asked me to help carry supplies, but when I followed them back here, they attacked me. They caught me off guard, forced me to defend myself. I fear they fared rather worse than me. Can't fool us. We know what you're about. Vultures, that's what you are, waiting in the wings for us to show weakness, and then you swoop in. Here to help? What rot. All the ploy to make us lower our guard. Let you in, put ourselves at your mercy, put us in chains, steal our lands, get your revenge. You're wrong. That's not what any of us want. Save the arguments for later. We've got bigger problems. I found empty medicine bottles in a bed that is still warm. It's true, Licinia was hiding her sick sister inside the house. But now there's no sign of either of them. Where are they? Where did they go? Away from you and yours. And if you think I'll tell you, you're a fool. I'd never give up my people. We're trying to help them, you idiot. Your sister's ill. The empty bottles prove it. So the medicine's run out. Well, she put it in her pockets to make it easier to carry, but avoid sound of clinking glass. There are beasts everywhere. How could you let them go alone? To protect them from you. Who invade our homeland, tainted with the same sorcery used to slay our countrymen. Our Garlean would sooner die than suffer the insult. Better for them to flee, keep their purity intact, than be corrupted by your vile magics. We were waiting for a chance to free them since the moment you arrived. This is getting us nowhere. I cannot say how Licinia and her sister would react when we find them, but find them we must. Go on without me, both of you. I first need to tend to my injuries. And theirs. I'll join you in the search after. All right. Be careful. We'll do our best to find them quickly. There's only one path out of here, so that's where we'll start. All right. I do wish you would not show affection with your claws. Two sets of fresh footprints. Young women, judging by the size. This is definitely them. Come on. What did you find, Alice? The trail stops at the frozen lake. Perhaps they chose this route so as not to leave footprints. I can't think of any other reason. Look at this place. It's crawling with beasts. I can only imagine how hard it must be after her ailing sister to cross the ice. But we could really do with Alfredo's help. But we can't afford to wait for him. Well, let's split up and look for clues. I go this way, and you go that way. Uh-oh, found some fresh blood. That's not good. The blood staining the snow appears to be fresh. Judging by the amount, the victim may have been severely wounded. The trail of blood heads southeastward. Well, looks like they're both dead. The two bodies are already cold. Chose death instead of our help.
Blood trail. We found one. They were attacked.
Couldn't say Liz. Gotta go find someone else.
No. Why? Why wouldn't they?
It's really not
Safer to brave
surprising.
the wilds than trust in our magic. We should have... I should have...
They didn't want to be saved. Listen.
We can't leave them like this. We have to take them home.
I mean, if you want.
What if we're only making it worse?
Maybe we don't belong here, but neither do they. Not out here in the wind and the cold.
At least bury them so that the animals won't eat them.
I heard the story about Varus's voice from beyond the grave. Of course, I didn't believe it, but Licinia and her sister did. Perhaps there is something to the tale after all. I want to understand. So I'm going to borrow this for a while, if that's all right. You had every reason not to trust us. We came as trespassers, invaders. But I pray that in time, we will be more than that to you. That we will find a way to help your loved ones. And see that no more children are left to freeze alone in the snow.
All right. Give me a moment. I'll be right back. must have been something we could have done. But what? Should we never even come here? Would they still be alive if we hadn't? If only we had a chance to talk things over, but too late now. Too late by far. You've already caused enough harm here. Let's return to the camp before we cause any more. As for those inside the house, we should send someone to take care of them. Someone who isn't us. All we can do for now is to make our report to Lucia and do everything in our power to prevent further tragedy. So let us linger here no more. Come. Propaganda does a number on you, psychologically. If you believe every other culture is savage and evil, it's very hard to convince you otherwise. Treatment of the tempered is proceeding as well as could be expected. If there's anything to report, we'll be sure to know. Though I gather you have a report of your own to deliver. Well, good news is we found survivors. And I say an awful note, Timmy. They have finished their preliminary search for survivors, but refrain from saying much more than that. Clearly, they're reluctant to provide details. May I ask for your account? The survivors are dead.
Thank you for your report. We shall inform the troops of these developments and instruct them to proceed with the utmost caution should they encounter any survivors.
Allow me to go and speak with the ones at the victor's spoils. They may be more willing to listen to a fellow Garlean and accept our offer of assistance.
I pray you are right. And though I am loath to burden you any further, should there be an appropriate occasion to speak of Licinia and her sister, please do so.
I am sorry to have put you through this.
My distress is nothing compared to their suffering. So tell me, what else have we learned?
As you may have already heard, we have succeeded in curing the members of the Populares, Maxima identified. They have provided us with some intriguing insights into the current state of Garlemald. The assassination of Emperor Varus was the catalyst for the civil war. Nerva declared his claim to the throne, and his opponents refused to recognize it. Fighting broke out in the capital, where Nerva's 3rd Legion clashed with the 1st, who remained loyal to Varus even after his death.
Of course, even Imperial warmongers would balk at the idea of turning their shining city into a battleground. Like burning down the wood to spite the wasps. neither side would be so mad. Unless something or someone inflamed their animosity to such an extent that they could not help but act against their better judgment.
It brings to mind events at the Gimlet Dark, does it not? The Emperor's sudden withdrawal from the front lines, specifically. Nerva and his father, Titus, Varus's then political rival, took advantage of rumors that Crown Prince Xenos had been possessed by a demon.
Elidibus, what better way to disparage your enemies than with the truth, or a close enough approximation?
Indeed. But before their accusations could be substantiated, many of Titus's followers were silenced. While some were merely stripped of their status, others died under curious circumstances. One after another, suddenly and suspiciously.
Again, Elidibus. Like as not, he had a hand in it. No evidence was found to implicate Varus, certainly. Nevertheless, Titus, Nerva, and the Third Legion would have judged it a brazen attempt by the Emperor to rid himself of his political enemies. And then, in the midst of this growing turmoil, Varus Sosgalvus is murdered. And Garlemald's own prodigal son, Gaius van Belsar, is named the murderer. Shortly thereafter, Nerva claims the right of succession. And in response, the First Legion claims the assassination was part of a coup d'etat orchestrated by Titus and Nerva.
So no one is at fault, and everyone else is to blame.
Right.
I should add that both parties received substantial financial backing, presumably to provide them with the means and encouragement to pursue a swift victory, and that these contributions came from the self-same benefactor.
I'd heard House Brutus had been filling the Third Legion's coffers, but the First as well.
It would seem so. Though the Populares determined that the First Legion received funds from a variety of organizations, all had connections to House Brutus.
So Fandaniel, in the guise of Asahi, was playing both sides against each other the entire time.
The information we gained from my friends does not end there. One night, shortly after fighting broke out, the capital was shaken by an immense tremor. From that point onward, they have no memories, no recollection of any events, including our clash on the Magna Glaciers. But when asked about the Imperial Palace and its bizarre transformation, they somehow recall Emperor Varus giving them orders in their dreams. May the Tower of Babel stand as testament to the glory of Garlemald.
Tower of Babel.
This sounds awfully familiar.
We have something to show you all.
Varus spoke to them through this radio. Perhaps it was a recording, but if not, that would be inexplicable.
Unless Varus is now a primal.
We are of one mind, then.
The ether that permeates the ore used in this device is almost identical to that of the talismans.
I see it. While it is likely more by coincidence than design, these devices might also ward against a primal's influence. A picture is beginning to form. If the tremor felt throughout Garlemald was a wave of ether emitted by a primal, then while those within range would have been tempered, those huddled around a radio desperate for news concerning the Civil War would have been spared.
No wonder Licinia kept it close.
My friends, I must speak with you. A young man was caught trying to steal our supplies. He is a soldier of the Iron Men, we think, but one who has not been made thrall. Thankfully, Magni restrained him before blood was spilled. The stranger is outside, if you wish to ask him questions.
All right.
I think we do.
Who do we have here?
Garleans? Traitors to your homeland! Have you no shame?
I am Lucia Junius, a temple knight of Ishgard. And you are?
Iulus Pier Norbanus. And that's all you invaders will get from me.
We are not here to invade Garlemald. Far from it. Like you, our allies in Eorzea and the Far East fight in defense of their lives and their loved ones even as we speak. But it is the people of Garlemald who have suffered most. This we know. And that is why we have come to offer you our aid, that we may unite against our common foe. Whether you believe me or not, those are the facts. Now, answer me this. Why would a proud soldier of the Empire be reduced to stealing? The situation must be dire indeed for you to go to such lengths. If it is supplies you seek, we would gladly share ours, or turn a blind eye while you leave with your spoils.
I will not negotiate. My commander will determine how to deal with you and yours. If you wish to treat with him, I will take you, but no more than 3.
I don't much like the sound of that. But if we do accept his proposal, I suggest the 2 of us and...
Please allow me and Alize to act as envoys.
May I ask why?
We have seen with our own eyes the hardships the Garleans face. How their futures and lives hang in the balance.
It's not the warmest invitation, but it's an opportunity to prove our intentions true. Maybe not a chance to make things right, but a chance to make them better.
I'm going with you.
I can see that persuading you otherwise is a lost cause, but you will proceed with the utmost care.
Oh, of course.
Couple of children and what? A sellsword? Is this an insult?
Not in the least. You will find that they are more than qualified to speak on our behalf.
There are many dangers on the road ahead. I will need that back.
Yeah, Lucia. Well, you'll be received as invited guests, and so I urge you to observe proper social etiquette and conduct yourselves accordingly. Your safe return takes precedence above all else. Remember this. The Thancred in particular would be worried sick if you were gone too long. May the Fury watch over you and keep you. Are you and the children ready? I will explain that route once you are outside of your camp. If anyone attempts to follow us, we will judge it as an act of hostility. We will not hesitate to take appropriate measures. I would expect nothing less. You have our full cooperation. Alright, I got 2 more missions to do real quick, and then I'll join you. Hey there, I'm a guy. I beg your pardon, but I hear you're a man of the world. We have a slight problem, and your knowledge might help us solve it. Actually, they came to me first, but when it comes to anything other than the martial arts, I'm unable to provide much in the way of assistance. I did, however, offer to find someone who can, so hopefully I may yet make myself useful. A man in the maelstrom is over by the storeroom, no doubt scratching his head as we speak. I'm sure he'll benefit from your wisdom. Could you spare a few moments to assist me? Sure. The situation's rather dire, I'm afraid. Even now, our healers continue to treat the Imperial troops encountered by the Magna Glacius, and prolonged use of curative magics has pushed them beyond their limits. To make matters worse, spending so much time around the Tempered with all the raving and thrashing about takes its toll on the carers. I dare say a few words of encouragement from the champion of Eorzea would help raise their spirits. I also have a few bottles of ether to alleviate their fatigue. Would you mind distributing these amongst the healers? I was told someone would come to help. I never thought it'd be you. Well, now that you're here, I'd like you to take a look at the container we recovered from the Magnus Glacius. It's one of several, in fact. Though we've succeeded in cracking the others open, this stubborn bugger refuses to yield. All I know is a 4-letter password needed to unlock it. What that might be, I haven't the foggiest idea. There might be someone around here who either knows what it is or can point us in the right direction. Could you try asking around for me? Only 4 letters. How many possible combinations is that? Well, let's see. 26 to the 4th power. Pretty big number. Hey there, Hawisa. I'm sorry, I don't know the exact code, but given that the container belonged to the 3rd Legion, perhaps the password has some sort of significance to them. Here's a warming ether. Oh, I've seen you before. You fought bravely at the Nadam, as I recall. And you come bearing gifts. Oh, yeah. This should warm you up. Yeah, treating the Tempered is a lot harder than I'd imagined. Before we came here, I'd only heard rumors of the condition, but to see it with my own eyes, no one deserves that. No one. That's why the work we do is so important. Once I finish resting, as I was ordered, I shall return to the patients. I thank you for your kindness. Sure. Here, have another warming ether. The Warrior of Light, it's an honor to meet you. Yeah, this is to warm you up. Oh, I'm just doing my job is all. No need to thank me. Truth be told, it is beginning to wear on me, bit by bit. I once lost a friend to tempering, and every time we managed to cure one of the afflicted, I'm reminded of those we couldn't save. If only we'd had a way of treating them before they were... No, I mustn't let such thought cloud my mind. We've all been very grateful for the work at the Scions in curating this treatment. For my part, I'll do everything in my power to save as many lives as possible. No, we're not going to that yet. Here's a warming ether for you. I'm sorry, I was a bit distracted. This will warm you up. Maybe take your mind off of what you saw. You wouldn't believe some of the things I've seen. These poor bastards calling out for Varys for salvation, wailing out anthems, praising the Empire, and then there's the screaming. God, I can still hear them. But I mustn't let them stop me from fulfilling my duty. I'll fill my ears with wax if I have to, and once I get this ether down my neck, I'll return to my post. So Varys is 5 letters. Glory is also 5 letters. Know what the password could be? Container. Sorry, I hadn't had much to do with them. If you're after clues that could lead you to the password, a little background information on the 3rd Legion might be of use. It was formed in the first year of Emperor Solus's reign, and spent a few first decades engaged in campaigns across the northern territories. In the 42nd year's exemplary service to the Empire was assigned a new role, protection of the capital, a far more prestigious position. third would either be, what, 5 or 3, not 4. I understand it's common for people to choose dates and so forth of special importance to their password. As for the members of the third, nothing springs to mind. Perhaps an anniversary or something along those lines? Here you go, Joel. I finished the rounds then. Did the healers have anything to share? Well, I'm really disturbed by the wailing. Oh, it's worse than I thought. Even the tempered we'd seen in our homelands did little to prepare us for the sheer numbers we're encountering here. Curing them all may appear to be an insurmountable task, but we must try. That's why maintaining morale and the well-being of the healers is so important. You've made a valuable contribution. I'd like you to have this by way of thanks. Sure. Any way I can help? If this belonged to the Third Legion, they'd be the ones to pick the password. Most likely make it easy to remember. That information you got from the history of the Legion might be a lead worth following, but I have no way of entering numbers, only letters. Oh wait, it's Garlean numerals. Let's see, if third is written as 3, then if I take 42, hold on, XLII, is that right? Or the triad, I suppose. Ah, it worked. Now to inspect our treasure. What bloody house is this? A flag? Why would they bother keeping a thing like this locked away? I'll not pretend to understand their ways. Just assume that they have a good reason for treating a bit of cloth with such reverence. Probably best to leave it here undisturbed. I have no intention of offending anyone. Could I ask you to pass on word of what we found? Oh, and thanks for your help. Alright, be right back. let's continue, shall we? Alright, so in the next 30 minutes I may have to stop, or I may continue for the rest of the stream. So whenever the people show up. So, has the investigation finally reached its conclusion? Maybe, I don't know. Our Galilean flag, we be wise to treat it with respect. The chain it bears represents a unity between the peoples of the Empire, a unity that is all but lost. To think that this banner will be locked away rather than raised proudly, a relic of Garlemald's past. Though they've been long our allies, to see its people brought so low, forgive me, I've spoken overmuch. Though the search did not uncover any resources to speak of, at least the mystery of the locked container can be laid to rest. You have our thanks. All right. All right, Gillis. All right, that's far enough. Listen carefully. We head over the hill, and then we follow the road until we reach Liminal Station the 4th. Children in the lead. I want you where I can see you. We do have names, you know. I'm Alice. He is Orphanode. And last but not least, there's Pieter. Pieter. Where have I heard that name before? No matter. Orphanode and Alice will watch the road ahead, while we bring up the rear. I wasn't lying about there being many dangers, so you're to run, not saunter, run toward the station. And if you even think about going for your weapon, the deal's off. Should any creatures bar the way, we'll go around them. When you choose to depart, Julius will accompany you. Orphanode and Alice will begin moving toward the destination. Make your way toward Liminal Station the 4th without falling behind. If you leave Julius behind for any reason and lose sight of Orphanode and Alice, you may try again by returning to the starting point. You guys ready to make a dash for the station? Now let's go. Orphanode and Alice set off at a brisk walk. Oh, faster than the walk, I'd say. This must be the road you mentioned. If you follow this, it should lead to the station. Not the easiest surface to run on. The Liminal Station. We'd better not draw attention. That's the station, I presume. Yeah, jealous. This is it. The first stop, that is. Good. Good. Looks like your friends knew better than to follow us. Are these your headquarters? No. We're stopping here so I can check for pursuers. Since it appears you've kept to your side of the bargain, we can carry on. North of the station is Regio Domorum, one of the main residential areas. Or at least it was. The affected roam the streets in packs. They'll tear us to shreds if they're given the chance. Keep close and no wandering off, understood? From here, we'll begin heading northeast. Keep to the left of the railway. While the route itself is straightforward, getting past the hordes unseen is anything but. Keep your weapons at the ready. They would attack their own countrymen. Aye, they spare their own, but slaughter the rest without hesitation. Though we'll try to avoid the detection. The chances of sneaking by completely unnoticed are slim at best. I'll lead the way, but in the event we are seen, you're to frighten them off. Those two will follow us, provided they can refrain from drawing their weapons. While I doubt they would be foolish enough to stab their guide in the back, I'll not take that chance. With that said, let us proceed. All right, I'm going to hide behind this and grab some water. I'll be right back. Get some coffee, too. All right, let's continue. I see where your comrades chose you. Julius, our contingent has a cure for the afflicted, or tempered, as we call them. Your people would need to be taken into custody, that we may administer the treatment, but they'll eventually regain their sanity. Is that so? For all I know, your treatment would simply force them to forsake one master for another. As far as I and my legion are concerned, they're no longer our people. They're beyond saving. Those who thought differently and tried to reason with them were butchered for their bleeding hearts. Come, we have to keep moving. Looks like we're not being followed. We can continue onward. I mean what I said. These people deserve only death. I've stayed my hand before, only out of the desire to remain undiscovered. That is still the higher priority. We should continue to avoid any unnecessary confrontations. Keep following the railway. There's tertium, huh? Look at what they've become. Would you stand still? Would you just stand there and claim that they can be cured? They can. Those exposed to a vast quantity of a primal's aether must suffer severe corruption. Even with treatment, such victims are beyond salvation. Then you admit it. Now that you've seen these monstrosities for yourself, perhaps you'll think twice about speaking of a cure. Cure can happen unless they've been corrupted too far. We're almost there. You've kept your side of the agreement, so I'll keep mine. This way. This is Tertium, one of Garlemald's largest stations. It now serves as our headquarters. I've already sent the twins ahead. I'll be with you soon, so wait for me at the bottom of the stairs. Appears to be a major hub of some kind. Hey there, Raffaello. It's plain to see why they chose this as their base of operations. They could have done a lot worse. Even so, I imagine it's not the easiest place to live. Indeed, if Julius is willing to make the perilous journey to Camp Broken Glass in search of food, their own supplies must be all but exhausted. They may be shielded from the wind and snow, but it's still bitterly cold. Much like Victor's spoils, it must be a constant struggle to keep their people warm. Oh, your voices. Though you may be here as my guests, the others will not take kindly to your presence. My commander's in the locomotive, over there. All right. Before I go in, I want to attune to your Aetherite, and that may be a faux pas on my part. Aetherite's not responding. Oh, fine. Let's go in. Hey, Julius. Hi, I'm totally inconspicuous
These are the chosen
person.
representatives.
Very well. Let us hear what they have to say.
Yes, sir. I present to you our commander, Lord Quintus Van Kina, Legatus of the First Legion.
The first? I had no idea you had survived.
We lost our emperor, our city, more than half our troops. For my wounds, I may never take the field again. But we survived, aye. In a manner much to your liking, I dare say.
We have no intention of adding to your misfortunes, nor do we bear you any ill will.
I bear a little.
Spare me. Though you children may speak in earnest, overtures of peace ever ring hollow in my ears. So long as man stands to profit from his neighbor's suffering, war is inevitable.
I realize that's what led you to drive my people out of this land. But it's not always so.
Driven from our ancestral homeland into this blasted waste.
We
Yet
drove my
still
people out.
you yearned to rob us of our paltry scraps. 'Twas only with Magitech that you learned to keep your distance. Though we knew it was only a matter of time before you regrouped and returned. Conquest and empire were our only defenses. Emperors Solus and Varys understood this, and through their campaigns saw us grow and prosper. Much blood has been spilled in Garlemald's name, aye. But if it is a choice between yours and mine, then it is hardly a choice at all.
I do not deny that a great many conflicts throughout history were driven by the desire or necessity to gain by another's loss. That is not why we are here. Nor have we come to petition your aid in the war with the Telophoroi, grave though that threat may be. Our purpose is simply this. We wish to help you. Let us help you. If there is aught that can be done to ease your plight, we would be glad to do it.
Perhaps you would. But regardless of the ideals you espouse, your leaders would not send an army into Garlemald if they did not stand to benefit. If we accept their aid, they will expect their efforts to be rewarded once the Telophoroi are no longer a threat. And after compensation and concessions, the great empire would be brought to heel. Her enemies rejoice at her downfall. Our third eye, a mark of shame.
2 out of 3.
We won't stand idly by and let your people be humiliated. And we're not alone in that. We only want to make a difference, to make this world of ours better. Surely you can understand that. What I'm trying to say is, there are so many people who just don't care about making you suffer. And maybe that's almost insulting after all the suffering you feel the world has subjected your people to, but believe it or not, that's the truth. And now we're here, and all we're asking is for you to tell us what you want, what you hope for.
So much blood has been shed, so much lost. All because of this endless war. Who wouldn't want to end it? Can we not work together to face our problems as one?
Got a real Assassin's Creed vibe from Pietro right now.
Answer me this, young peacemakers. If a world without conflict is your desire, Why reject the unity and prosperity of Garlemald? Is it because we do not share your faith? That we do not share your heritage? That our ideals and virtues differ? That we cherish and hold in the highest that which you do not? Disparity is the root of discord, and peace built on compromise is flawed and fleeting. Happiness for one and all is a dream, and the reality is that to the victor go the spoils. That is why we Garleans will never submit nor surrender. For freedom and for pride, we will remain true to ourselves until the bitter end. That is my hope.
I think you're seeing your bitter end come a lot faster than you
It seems
expected.
there is nothing more to say on the matter. You will remain here while I decide what is to be done with you. Do not be alarmed. No harm will come to you if you cooperate.
We will not resist. However, as your guests, I ask that we be allowed to speak with the other members of your group.
As you wish. I had no intention of locking you up, as by dawn you would be frozen stiff and you're no good to me dead. You are free to move about the encampment, but there is one condition. Collar them.
What are these?
Incentive. You'll be watched at all times. Stray too far or act suspiciously, and we will administer a rather painful shock. Stop. Keep away from that one. The champion of Eorzea is not so easily cowed. Even if he allowed himself to be collared, the shock would be no more than an itch. No. If he refuses to obey, we will activate the twins' restraints instead.
You needn't worry about us.
We'll forget we're even wearing them soon enough.
Even now, you still... Why go to such lengths? What is it all for?
In the coldest, blackest of nights, meager though it may be, we must share the warmth of our fire.
You are a curious one. A far cry from the merciless barbarian others paint you to be. You will be their warden. Take them away.
Yes, sir.
Just that Moon Knight look is so good on Pieter. And now, Lady 3. As per Lord Quintus's instructions, I'm to supervise you during your time here in Tertium. Before you ask, no, I don't have a key or any other means to remove your collars. Nor would I tell you if I did. And if you try anything, you'll soon wish you hadn't. So do you truly intend to speak with the others, or is that merely a ruse? I'm in no hurry to disobey Lord Quintus, if that's what you mean. Or perhaps you doubt the wisdom of his decision. Do as you will. Remember, I will be watching. If you catch wind of you doing anything untoward, trying to trick our people into turning their coats and the like, those shock collars will be the least of your worries. You understand? They were somewhat compromised, to put it lightly. Let us not waste this opportunity. I suggest splitting up and learning what we can of their situation. Above all else, don't use magics of any sort. You, on the other hand, you may go wherever you wish. Even outside the camp. I know full well I couldn't stop you if I tried. But do not forget, if you do anything to endanger us or our interests, Alphino and Alice will pay the price. Persona non grata. Tertium. Tertium is the third station along the rail network, which serves as the imperial capital of Garlemald. Equipped as a dispatch yard with generators and other facilities, it was taken over and fortified by the remnants of the First Legion following the city's fall into ruination. Can I attune to the crystal yet? Aetherite still is not responding. Yeah, Fabio. It's you, Peter Krolinsk. I served under Lord Gaius in the 14th Legion. I was there on the night the Praetorium fell. You and your adventurers, you killed them, my comrades, my friends. You swept them aside into dozens, as though they were nothing to you. And maybe I am, too. Just another faceless enemy to be cut down. But it won't be long until our countrymen return, until you get what you deserve. Mark my words. You came with Julius, didn't you? Well, whatever business you brought you here, you'd best keep your hands off that aetherite. It's deactivated, but I'd rather you didn't mess about with it. There are others throughout the city, built by Garleans for Garleans. Could teleport all over the blink of an eye, provided there was a terminal nearby. These days, however, we use the aetherite's power to keep this place lit. So that comes at the cost of its normal function. It's so cold. Jim's Folger is on the verge of losing consciousness. I know who you are, you so-called champion of Eorzea. Come to gloat, have you? I'll wipe that smirk off your face by the blood of our fallen compatriots, I swear. Ugh. Damn Torda Sutures. Of all the times, the worst of the lot within striking distance, I can't even muster the strength. If it weren't for the third bleeding us, we'd be the end of you. But Julia's treachery cost the Lord Quintus's life, but we made our escape. Took shelter in a mansion, tended the wounded as we prepared to strike back, and then night fell and we gathered around the radio. Then the roar. What a terrible roar. The capital was in chaos, but we were spared. If you can call this a mercy, mind intact but body broken, soldier in name alone, I'll cut you down while you stand if I could, you murderer. The material stored in here is the property of the First Legion. If you think we'd share with the likes of you, you're very much mistaken, sir. We've not the resources nor the inclination to assist the likes of you. Be gone. The radio's the same model as used in Victor's spoils. Perhaps that's what saved the soldiers here from being tempered. Did you learn anything of note? Oh, we're very unpopular. And your findings are consistent with my own. That plant is desperate indeed. The sick and the injured are the greatest risk. Without warmth and proper nutrition, I fear they will all soon perish. I realize there's precious little we can do for them at present, but I cannot bear to see them suffer so. Please, will you help me tend to them? Here, Flavius, let me rewrap that bandage for you. Who's that? Oh, my eyes, they can't see that well. Oh, thank you. The numbness has subsided a little, but I know it won't last much longer. You should look to the others who can still fight. Give them my ration. If me going hungry means someone else lives to see another day, then so be it. At least I can serve in some way. So those you met fare no better. I'm afraid you'd say that. I know we were warned against meddling in their affairs, but we can't leave them like this. Perhaps we might gain permission to have the contingent deliver some supplies. Quintus may have had his feelings in the matter quite clear, but even he must recognize they're not in a position to refuse any help. Maybe Julius could persuade him. We'd need to persuade Julius first. Listen, your people will all be dead really soon if we don't help them. We have the material. Well, seen enough. Your people, they're in really bad shape. Julius, these people here have barely enough food and fuel to survive. Have you and the other soldiers been able to procure any more supplies? We've been scavenging provisions from the nearby houses, as most families kept, some food stored away in the event they were snowed in. Still, going out and getting it is dangerous work, and with a lot of mouths to feed. Fuel is the greater concern, though. We had some ceruleum set aside until it was stolen. We haven't identified the culprit. Could have been other refugees or one of the afflicted, for all we know. Either way, we're down to our last dregs. Without the heating they need, those in poor health are only going to get worse instead of better. If it's ceruleum you need, our contingent is secured a ready supply. We could have some sent over today. We will not accept your charity. If we can hold on a little while longer, the situation's sure to change. Everything will change soon. One of your comrades mentioned something along those lines. Heard something of it, have you? Well, from what I've seen, there's little you could do to interfere, so there's no harm in telling you. One of our scouts spotted a hooded man issuing instructions to the afflicted, or in the bastard's words, loyal servants of the Telephore. Then he made his way into the Imperial Palace, what stands in its place. We've identified the seat of the enemy's power, we realized. Lord Quintus dispatched a messenger of the 10th Legion saying as much, and instructing them to join forces with the provincial legions to prepare for a combined assault on the Telephore. Once our allies arrive, your contingent will be sent running for the hills. Then we shall reclaim the capital by our own hand. And how do you intend to survive in the meantime? At this rate, many of your countrymen will perish long before reinforcements reach Garlemald. They need help now. Say the word, we'll help you bring you ceruleum. Will you all freeze to death as you wait? I will speak with Lord Quintus. So, did he agree to it? No. He will not place Garlemald in the debt of their enemies. I have, however, been ordered to search for ceruleum outside. As you are under my watch, you may come with me. Sure. We'll work together. Very well. After all, many hands make light work. Oh, you're out of more trouble than you're worth. Once we are outside, you'll follow my instructions to the letter. We depart shortly. Greta. Now, this is hardly the situation we had in mind. It will suffice for the time being. We'll begin our search for Ceruleum, Ragoso, and Boromisa. First location is Forum Soleus, a park to the northwest of this station. You have to remain close at all times and act only as ordered. Follow me. Park materials. We'll speak with Alisea once out of this subway station. Hey, Alisea, what's up? So this is the park. I'm surprised they found space for one amongst all these buildings. Actually, the recreational areas came first. The houses were later built around them. A healthy society requires communal spaces for children to play and adults to socialize. This park was named after the founding father of the empire, the Grand Solus Vos Galvus. Did we come to extract Ceruleum from the wrecked Magitech armor? No, we've already drained it dry. Same goes for the rest of the machina in the vicinity. But as our Ceruleum has been stolen, we must scour the area for every last drop. And while I don't expect to find anything here, I've decided to try one more time, in case something's been overlooked. I see. Well then, with your permission, we'll commence our search. Don't you bet something will be up one of those ramps. I'm going to keep my phone on hand in case I'm contacted in some way. Cursory inspection of the wrecked Magitech armor confirms the fuel canisters have long been drained of Ceruleum, as Julius said. The children's slide. The contraption is built in the style of Imperial war machina, armed with a battery of weapons and capable of transforming into different configurations, but on closer inspection, it appears to be no more than a children's slide. Forum Soleus. It was in this square that Emperor Solus inspected his troops before embarking on his second campaign to the Far East. The Imperial legions were ultimately successful in their subjugation of the Kingdom of Dalmasca, and officials celebrated the grand victory by transforming the parade grounds into a commemorative public park. I'm willing to bet there's something on top of one of those ramps. I'm going to check the outskirts here just to make sure. Since the circle is where it is. Like there could conceivably be something on the outside here. I need 2 more. Anything else over here? A shot counter. A rather small by Gradlean standards, the structure is reminiscent of a merchant's stall. Perhaps it was built for children to play at shopkeeper. There's nothing inside resembling Magitech or any other devices that'd be fueled by ceruleum. Yep, that one's up the ramp. I guess it'd be somewhere up a ramp. Napa Forum Soleus. Several points of interest are marked in the map of Forum Soleus. The pond, children play areas. To your knowledge, however, none would require the use of ceruleum. Yeah, it turns out this children's park really doesn't have any Magitech worth speaking of. Sorry. Oh, it's you. Any luck? No, I looked everywhere. There is no sign of ceruleum. Hardly surprising, but disappointing, nonetheless. I couldn't help but noticing you gazing at the pond. Is something the matter? Well, yes. I mean, no. It's just... I used to bring my brother and sister here to play. The pond was heated to stop it from freezing over. Just like all the other children, they had to wade in and splash about. Would have stayed here if I didn't drag them out. We'd be sopping wet when all was said and done every single time. And every time when we got home, Mother would scold us, saying we'd catch our death walking around like that. The pond was heated. With a ceruleum-powered heater by any chance? I suppose it must have been. Come to think of it, I remember seeing engineers changing out a tank behind the hatch. That was a long time ago, when the water still flowed clear and wasn't this brackish muck. We can't see a thing. I can't remember where the hatch might be. With the machinery most likely broken, the amount of filth in there is probably the only reason it hasn't frozen over. I wager it's still unbearably cold, though. Julius, what are your thoughts on magic? The average Galilean would jump out of their skin if they saw it. But the Fist has a few forms, like Nifre and Medici, so it doesn't scare me. Then I take it you won't mind if I employ a little now? Oh, for now? I have a knack for as you have a knack for finding dry wood, won't you bring me some? Once that's done, a blast of verfire should do the trick. Leave it to me. You're not planning to go in there, are you? Of course I am. This tank isn't going to fetch itself. It's nothing so involved as extracting unprocessed ceruleum from a frozen lake, like how the tappers do it. We're talking about a shallow pond in a park. And we have a way of warming ourselves up after. That is insane. So, fancy a dip? Oh, yeah. Step aside while I drink the pond dry. That way we can find it in no time. That may just be the stupidest thing I've heard in a while. And that's saying something, considering who my brother is. I can't fault your enthusiasm, though. Let's do it my way first, and if that doesn't work, then perhaps we can try your method. With Orphano's help. You delve into the murky water, but come up empty-handed. To add injury to insult, the icy wind in your damp clothing chills you to the bone. You delve into the murky water, but come up empty-handed. To add injury to insult, the icy wind on your damp clothing chills you to the bone. You delve into the murky water, but come up empty-handed. To add injury to insult, the icy wind in your damp clothing chills you to the bone. Of course, it's going to be the last place I look. Beneath your water, your fingers catch on what you think might be a handle. It just feels so freaking cold. In my head, I'm imagining how cold that would be. You open the hatch and retrieve a ceruleum tank. So cold. However, your grand discovery comes at great personal cost, and you become acutely aware of the freezing cold and the rancid odor emanating from every elm of your body. Julius will doubtless feel compelled to pinch his nose shut when you deliver him your prize. Here you go. Did you find anything? Oh, I hope you did. Here's a ceruleum tank. That's it. And there's still some ceruleum left. The fire's still not ready. Hold on. I'll give off an hour hand. Call me Naldon, because I'm by fire am I reborn, and my clothes are mostly dry now. I appreciate you recovering the ceruleum, but I wish you'd taken the time to discuss the plan with me beforehand. Despite the way you've been treated, in Lord Quintus's eyes, you're still envoys, deserving of protection. If you were to die in my watch, he would be most displeased. Your concern is duly noted. All's well that ends well. Yeah. Julius, you mentioned coming here with your younger siblings. Did you grow up in Garlemald? I did. Not far from here. My father was an accomplished researcher in his youth, and for his contributions to the Empire, awarded an estate. We lived well, better than many. What was Garlemald like in those days? Everything. It was everything we could imagine. Oh, and so much more. Even during the coldest winters, we always found warmth and comfort at home. Coming in from the snow, taking off your coat, sitting down for a hot meal with your family, visiting friends and relatives and receiving that same welcome, knowing they had everything that they needed. Walking down the street, seeing the lights in all the houses, hearing the faint sounds of laughter and song, of happiness. And although the summers came and went all too quickly, in that brief respite, the ice would melt and the forgotten grass make its triumphant return. Gray clouds gave way to blue skies. Some mornings we'd climb to the top of the tallest buildings that we could find to watch the sunrise. Never again. Those rooftops are all rubble. Friends are dead. Those memories. But if I could reclaim even a fraction of what we once had, soon our chance will come. We just need to hold on a little while longer. So let's assume for a minute that you're right, and that any minute now they're going to come around the ridge. 10 minutes.